Once upon a time, Japan Railways was the best railway company in the world. This is the company that invented the mighty Shinkansen, the best bullet train ever made, and the company that became synonymous with Japan's sense of quality and punctuality. But oh, how the mighty have fallen. This hurts me so much to say, but according to Alarmbox, which is a research institute in Japan that collects data for over 18,000 companies, Japan Railways was ranked as the worst workplace in Japan. And it gets even worse when you read why. Things like staff burnout from relentless overtime, chronic understaffing, forcing people to work on their much needed vacation day, and to add insult to injury, because the COVID-19 pandemic destroyed the balance sheets of these companies, a lot of bonuses for the good performers were withdrawn, and some people even got pay cuts. On top of that, the work culture seems to be really archaic. Things like having to stay late in the office just because the old managers like it that way, and no young talent being promoted because they haven't worked there long enough seems to be commonplace, which is really creating a place where innovation is stifled. And lastly, to really add insult to injury, the leadership doesn't seem to have any growth plan for the future, only amplifying the already record high staff turnover, making things worse for everyone. These growing concerns and pressure from within had led to loud calls for the CEO, Yuji Fukusawa, to step down. So hear me out. As a bona fide railway buff and a seasoned connoisseur of Japan's corporate scene, I think I might be the man that can put Japan Railways on the right tracks. So without further ado, I'm here to announce that Rei Saito, is the new CEO of Japan Railways. And this is my plan to make Japan Railways great again. Proposal number 1. Make railways have dynamic prices like the airline industry. So hear me out, because this is gonna ruffle some feathers. Today's Japan Railways basically has the same price for the same routes whatever time you're taking it. This means that if you're taking it on New Year's Eve or on an unbusy Tuesday, you'll still pay the same price for the tickets. The reason Japan Railways give for this is because they say it's fair, right? Sometimes you need to go somewhere and you don't want to pay an extortionate amount of money for it. On top of that, they also say that the popular routes are a little bit more expensive to subsidize the less popular routes, so the whole system can work together. This is all fine and great, and I understand it, but the lack of flexibility is really annoying. Even from Tokyo to Osaka, you can find trains in the middle of the day that are almost empty, because why would someone not take the best time for them to travel if the times are all the same price? If we had an airline pricing system here, we would have many benefits. The first one being that the congestion would be more spread out. Because if it's super expensive to travel at, let's say, 6 p.m., some people will travel at 8, or some people will travel at 4 p.m., right? And so it's easier for the staff to handle the customers because they're more spread out. Secondly, this also makes it so you get a more diverse travel group, right? Sometimes we take a plane to Okinawa or Sapporo, wherever, right? Because it's cheap on that day and we just feel like, oh, it would be so cool to go here. And especially when the plane tickets are like $15. Well, guess what? With dynamic prices, train could work the same way. If there's a train that's basically empty, they have no loss of making that journey cheaper for you. So, if you want to go to somewhere in Nagano or somewhere you've never been there before, which is very rural, and there's a Shinkansen going there, you could easily go there on a day where it's not busy because it's cheap for you. It's a win-win. Okay, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Because this is proposal number 2. Automate, automate, automate. You know, Japan is very famous for the term Kaizen, or continuous improvement. And it has served many Japanese companies very well. It is why Japan has excelled in making the highest quality cars, the best railways, and the best, well, you know what I mean. But the less glamorous side of Kaizen is that it tends to focus on incremental improvements rather than questioning the core methods. For example, if you ever worked in a Japanese office, you know that Excel is king. It's not just a tool, it's a tool used for everything. There's an old salaryman in Japan who makes art in Excel. I mean, we look at it and think, what a funny guy. But I bet you this guy doesn't even know that pencils exist. He just used Excel so much, he thought this is how you make art. What I'm trying to say here is that JR runs on the same principles as an old school Japanese office. But instead of Excel, they have manpower. And every time there's a problem inside JR, they throw more bodies at it, hoping that it will go away. Well, I'm here to tell you, it haven't gone away, and it's made the place miserable to work at. So how can we fix this? How can we think about the employees? Well, the low-hanging fruit here is to automate the train lines. You see, Hitachi, a Japanese company, is actually leading in the charge to automate trains. They have systems inside Japan, like the Kamome system that is fully automated, or the whole Copenhagen metro, which is made by Hitachi and fully automated. These fully functioning systems have shown that this technology is not only possible, but often better than humans at doing this job. And the reason why JR is hesitant is because they are an old school company and there are still kinks that need to be worked out, and they refuse to even try it before it's 100 times better than human operations. Well, I'm here to tell you that sometimes you need to look at the humans that are suffering so much because they have to do everything manually. Let's say we get to a 99% efficiency of human touch trains in Tokyo, be 100 times better for the staff who can do something else and focus on the more human experiences of riding a train than just counting of how long they need to start and stop at every train station. The second thing I want to automate are the ticketing systems. You see, if you've ever been in Japan and taken a train, you probably know how manual the process is. It's either a really old school ticketing machine, or most times, especially for Shinkansen, it's an actual booth where people sit and buy you tickets when you give them money. And sure, if you're retired, which so many people are in Japan, this is very convenient and you have time to wait. But guess what? If you have a smartphone, you should be able to do all of this online. And to be fair to JR, you can buy tickets online, but it's really an afterthought, rife with problems, and instead people are still lining up at these booths trying to get the tickets, and the poor staff have to deal with customers who think some tickets are too expensive or think it's too fast and the world is not how it used to be anymore. This is really tearing on the train staff who have so much more important things to do. And on top of that, it just shouldn't be this way in 2024. Let people learn how to buy tickets online. It's not that hard. If you can do your taxes online, you can buy a train ticket online. Okay, proposal number 3. Open source the train lines. Okay, so let me explain what I mean here. The open source is usually reserved for software. And it basically means that anybody can see the code and change it and make it better. Well, that can be done with so many things, including schedules, train times, and even train designs, right? And this is where Japan's train enthusiasts come in. You see, Japan has something that's called train otakus, or tetsu otaku in Japanese. These people are ultra train nerds. They live and breathe trains. They literally stand for hours to take the perfect pictures of trains. They know everything about every train model ever made. They know about train schedules. They know about train staff. They know about station layouts. They basically know everything that's worth knowing about any train ever made. And this is where JR comes in. You see, JR's approach today of data is really old school. I've checked the records, and the kind of data they have is photocopied, faxed data that's very outdated and very hard to do anything useful with. This is where we can make a change. Let's clean the data up a bit and let's open it up to the public. Take, for example, the Yamanote line, the world's busiest train line. This is the iconic green loop that circles Tokyo's heart. And in its current state, there is almost no public data available on it. Here's where we could make a change. We can launch a platform where data on train schedules, passenger numbers, and even energy consumption are freely available. And the train otakus and tech enthusiasts could dive into this treasure trove of data. They can spot the inefficiencies in scheduling, they can propose energy-saving measures for train operations, and even devise more effective crowd control management strategies for stations. And who knows, this next big breakthrough in railway technology might just come from a train otaku's bedroom in a quiet Tokyo suburb. Wow. As the CEO, I'm really on a roll here, and I've done so much to make JR 100 times better. But I have one more proposal, and that is to scrap the Maglev trains already. Maybe you heard about the Chuo Shinkansen project. This is a Maglev line intended to connect Tokyo to Nagoya and eventually all the way to Osaka. And it really epitomizes Japan's ambition to redefine railway technology once again, like how they did with the Shinkansen almost 60 years ago. This technology utilizes magnetic levitation. It basically means that the train hovers above the tracks. And this promises unprecedented speeds, potentially reducing the Tokyo-Nagoya trip to under 40 minutes. That's almost half of what it is today. However, as you can guess, this comes at staggering costs, both in construction and predicted operational expenses. Construction of the line is expected to cost over $80 billion US, and rumors suggest that the Maglev line could be 4 times more expensive to operate daily than a conventional Shinkansen line. Don't get me wrong here. The idea of floating to your destination on magnetic levitating tracks is insanely cool. But when those dreams come with a price tag that could fund a small country, it's time for a reality check. Couldn't these billions be spent better? Perhaps on sprucing up existing rail networks or giving the hardworking staff a well-deserved pay bump. Or even investing in services that don't sound like they are conceived in a lab. Like, I get it. The Maglev is a testament to Japan's engineering might. Yet, in this day and age where practicality and environmental sustainability should take center stage, this project feels a bit overambitious. JR often justifies its hefty investments with the hope that they can export this technology abroad and make money. But let's be honest, most countries are still grappling with the fundamentals of regular rail infrastructure, making the leap to buying Maglev an insane proposition that I don't think will ever happen. Can everybody hear me? This is my shareholder letter as the CEO of Japan Railways. I've now been the CEO for a couple of years, and these are the changes I have incorporated. I have embraced dynamic pricing and shattered old norms, offering passengers both spontaneity and savings. I've taken a leap into automation, from self-driving trains to predictive maintenance, that has not only streamlined operations, but also carved out the future where technology amplifies human potential. Also, I've started the open source initiative that has harnessed the unmatched passion of train otakus, turning their detail obsession into tangible improvement across all lines on the JR. I know. Pausing the Maglev project was a decision not taken lightly, but it underscores our dedication to practical, sustainable progress over flashy ventures. The tracks are now laid, so let's embark on this journey together.
to make Japan Railways great again. Thank you so much. Thank you. And have a wonderful rest of the day. Goodbye.